I'm Carolina Jordan.
And I'm Adam Jordan.
Welcome to Faithful Foundations, where faith, service, education, and success meet in the world of real estate.
As a married couple and RE/MAX agents right here in the charming Charleston area, we're thrilled to share our journey with you.
We believe in more than just transactions. We believe in relationships built on trust, faith, and genuine care.
Join us on this faith-filled journey as we share stories from our business and life, revealing the foundations that guide us.
Faithful Foundations, where every home tells a story of faith and family.
So if you weren't already sick of me, you're now going to get to hang out with me on our series, Faithful Foundations.
Now, and we're super excited because thank you to Luigi and his team at Latin Groove. We are here in their studio, so we are very thankful. Thank you.
No, this is a great place, and I couldn't imagine a better spot to really bring our 2024 content for social media to the next level.
I agree.
So this first time in the series, we're going to sit and talk about the home buying process.
We are getting a lot of buyers now that the interest rates are getting a little better. Like, we're getting a lot of them coming back into the market, being very enthusiastic about coming to see houses and getting out there again.
Well, and this is something we do with all of our buyers if we can, especially first-time home buyers, where we like to sit down and give them a really good lesson. Education is one of our big tenets, one of the things we like to make sure we're giving our clients. So we try to do this for everybody we can.
Yes, we sit down with every one of them and make sure that we go through all the steps, including the loan process as well.
Well, before we get to talking about loans, one of the first things that I think a lot of people in that conversation don't really know about is earnest money and the down payment and what the difference in those two things are.
Right.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes. So earnest money is kind of like your faith, like your good faith deposit. So when we're ready to submit an offer, Peter and Mary decided that house was the house they want. We will help them with the offer to make sure that it's a strong, good offer. But that earnest money is like the first money that they're going to have to put down, only when the seller accepts our offer.
Okay.
And that money is part of what they will eventually have to bring into closing, or like cash to close, so that they don't lose. It will be just deducted from what they will have to bring the day of closing.
So it's kind of showing that you're serious about your offer.
Right.
But where the down payment, that's associated with their loan.
Correct. So let's say that they have their buying power is $350,000.
Right.
So usually, depending on the loan, the less amount of money that we have seen is 3.5%.
Okay.
So let's say that is $3,500 that they have to bring to the table. That is your down payment. So let's say, for example, that we are able to negotiate all the closing costs paid by the seller.
Yeah.
And then you have your down payment of $3,500, but you already put a good faith deposit of earnest money of like $1,000. Right. So all you have to bring the day of the closing is that extra $1,500.
Okay. But you bring up, we talk about earnest money, we talk about down payment, but you talked about closing cost in there too.
Right.
So those are three big things that you need to start thinking about early in the process when it comes to how much money you need to have saved away to even start the process.
Right. So one of the things that we talk to our clients is how much savings they have. Because if they don't have any savings, we won't be able to help them get a house. And that savings account needs to be at least 3% of what they are going to spend on the house.
Which can be a lot.
Right. So anywhere from $10,000 to $22,000 is kind of where we like to see our clients, to make sure that they are strong going into this process.
Okay.
One way that we tell them to start or to continue is, for example, if they pay $1,500 in rent right now,
Right.
and we kind of know that their mortgage payment is going to be $2,000. What we want them to start doing is when they go and pay that rent of 1,500, then put that extra $500 into their savings account.
Okay, so they're getting ready. They're starting to get comfortable with this is going to be coming out
Right.
once I get my home. I don't need to like get that shock right when I.
Exactly, exactly. And one, it helps them get a good habit of saving.
Yeah.
Two is growing their savings account so that when we're ready to start looking at homes in the
Oh,
process,
okay.
then they still have more cushioning on that savings account. And three, they're gonna know if they're gonna be able to continue that lifestyle that they're used to with a
Or make some
payment,
adjustments.
or yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
or saying, "Oof, we definitely are struggling with that extra $500. We're gonna need to look into something that is less a month."
Okay.
But back to your question of other closing costs, we have a lot of what is called prepays, and that is your home insurance, your taxes, anything that the lender might charge, transaction coordinator fees. So all those, the attorneys. So all that is part of your closing cost,
Okay.
and that earnest money that you put at the beginning go against
But
that money.
That's something that we negotiate for the client.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So some of those things, if we're able to, we can get the seller to pay for those things for the
Correct,
buyer.
correct. For example, we had one a few months ago where they had enough money for the down payment, but the closing cost money was not there. And we were able to put them on a brand new house where the builder was giving the incentive of paying all their closing costs
Okay.
plus paying for their interest rate to go down. So that helped this couple tremendously
Sure.
because we were able to get them into a house that they're now able to, build a family, build memories, but not be so stressed out about money because it was the right situation for
Well, I
them.
know even in our situations buying property, the less you have to put out, you don't want to be strapped going into that process.
Right.
So somebody's thought about the money that they need to spend. They know all of what's the difference between down payment, earnest money. What should they be doing next? Should they be looking at like credit score? Should they already know that?
So the next part, when you know how much you really have on your savings, is to talk to a lender.
Okay.
Because we need to know what is your buying power. Without your buying power, we're not going to be able to start showing you houses. One, we don't ever want our clients to fall in love with something that we later on are not going to be able to purchase.
Right.
So by knowing that buying power, we will know what kind of homes we can actually show to them.
Yeah, I mean that would be the worst is to go out there and you're seeing a $600,000 house or something, but you're pre-approved for 350,
Right.
and then the rest of the time you're going to compare that home that you saw that was maybe out of your budget and compare it to everything else,
Right.
and that can be tough mentally.
And that's the list of what we want to do with our clients.
Right.
We want to make sure that they are in the right house for their needs, that is a good investment for them. Later on, they're going to be able to sell and actually make some profit.
I mean that's important. One of the things that we try to do every time is if I'm getting you into a house, you're going to be able to sell that house in 3 to 5 years
Right.
and make a profit. We don't want to put them in a situation where you're stuck without the equity you need to make moves later down in life.
Right, right. One thing that a lot of people have a misconception to is how quick they can sell a property.
Okay. So is there things that hamper you from being able to do that, or
So it will all depend of like what's going on in your life, right? Like what's the situation? We have had some where They bought the house, and within the year, they had to move because of like the husband or wife's job.
Well, we're close to an Air Force base here.
Right.
We've got Coast Guard, Navy. So there's a lot of military here. And we've
Right.
seen that. Yeah, we sure have when people buy and then they're having to move right
Correct.
away.
So on situations like that, please make sure that you talk to your CPA or whoever does your taxes to make sure how they need to organize that so you don't get hit with a lot of taxes for
Right.
the profit
Okay.
if you do make some money on the sale of the property. The sweet spot will be 2 to 3 years. That is where you don't have to pay money or taxes
Okay.
on the profit of your property because you have lived there. It has been your primary residence. So that 2 to 3 years is the sweet spot.
Okay. So somebody's gotten the education on what the difference in those different monies are as far as earnest money, down payments, that they've gotten what they need to be pre-approved for, what they can be pre-approved for with the lender. They pulled their credit. All that's going to happen in that situation. What are you doing next? What are we usually seeing people like give us their criteria, and
Right. So at that point, then we see, does the wife likes a big kitchen, or do we need a big backyard because there is children or pets, or do we need a smaller townhouse because it's a single person?
right.
So it depends of like what their needs are requiring, and then we can start seeing those homes. Usually, we will start sending them homes from our MLS, which is the multi-listing services.
Okay.
Now with technology, 90% of people
Everybody's
just
looking-
find the house
I mean-
on like any website.
That's not. You don't want to say the name of the website, but
No,
it's
no, let's done. But there is multiple websites that they can go into. What you want is make sure that you do have a realtor, because it's not just to like, hey, I like that house, but let's go see it.
Yeah.
You will not be able to go into somebody else's house unless you have somebody that has the licensing to open the door for you. You want to make sure that that person is knowledgeable on the area, that you have
Well,
the
I
good
mean,
network.
That's something that I can even say I've seen you do, I know I do, that if something's outside of our area, I don't try to work that like I know it. We're strictly usually Somerville and the surrounding areas of Goose Creek, Monk's Corner is where we're working, right outside of Charleston. And if somebody is in Mount Pleasant, I don't know that area, so I'm gonna find a referral partner to work with over there.
And that's why it's so important to have a realtor that has a good network, because we have helped, dozens of people that are outside of our network, of our area, but we have a great network that we can pair them with a phenomenal agent that will be able to serve them better than we could.
Okay. So somebody's gotten to the point where hopefully they've come to work with us or one of our referring partners, and they're now looking at houses. Is there any kind of things you want them to then take into consideration when they're looking at houses?
Right. So we need to keep in mind the monthly payment. So sometimes people get very excited about their buying power.
Right.
Just because your buying power is high doesn't mean that we have to stay on that amount.
Yeah.
So if the lender has given you a buying power of $450,000, for example,
Right.
is that really the monthly payment that you want? Or do we want to stay lower and find something that you're going to be comfortable with?
Yeah, and you're not
right.
house poor.
Yeah. And so the whole thing is that we want you to be able to enjoy your home and to be happy with what you got. But at the same time, we want that home to like have those things that you either want or you need.
Right.
There are some families that might have special need kids. Like, is the house gonna be adequate for that child.
Well, and so many families now are multi-generational as well.
Right.
So do you have the right bedroom situation for a parent that might be living with you as well?
Correct. So we always focus, and one of the things that I love when we're going out to see houses
Yeah.
is, or not that I love, because I don't like to like tell people no, no, but sometimes they get so attached to, let's say, the kitchen, that they don't realize that the rest of the house is not what they need for what that first conversation that we had was.
Right. Sometimes you start to stray. You see the pool, you want this, you want that, because you've seen things in other houses, but it doesn't match what you told us initially.
Right. And then at that point, we either need to regroup and reevaluate your needs and your wants so that we make sure that the homes we're looking at are the right ones for what you need or what you want.
Okay.
So it's super important that, again, you have a patient realtor that can like pull you back when you need to, or get you very excited about what you're seeing.
Right.
Not just a sale per se, but
No. Yeah, you want to make
really
sure.
what you're gonna be happy with and what is gonna fulfill those needs that you need.
Right. And I think that feels like a good place because you could really take this even further into like writing offers and what happens there with inspections. But I feel like for this first segment, we could address that later on because that becomes a much more different conversation on
Right.
how that part of the whole experience goes.
Right. And we would love to hear from the audience. If you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, please make sure to let us know because we're here for you. We're trying to serve you and make sure that everything that we bring to you is going to be educational and help you make those great decisions to make sure that you have the home that you need.
Right. And do you have anything coming up that's going to be? I know you were doing something. We're both going to be there with D.R. Horton.
Yes, so we have partnered up with D.R. Horton. They are a big builder around our area. We're going to be having a first-time home buyer seminar on February 29. It's going to be in their Ken Bay, Pine Hills neighborhood. For more information, just give us a call or go to our website. We have it there to make sure that you guys get acquainted with what they have to offer and how we are able to serve you with them.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad we were able to sit down and do this. I look
Yes.
forward to doing so many more of these with you. I'll try to not talk at home so much about this
So you can come and talk
wait
here.
here and get my questions answered. But folks, remember, if you're doing buying or selling, just make sure you put faith at the cornerstone of what you're doing, trusting God, and that He's going to take care of the situation for you. It's a stressful situation. That's a big part of what we want to do here is also put out there that we trust in God and we make sure that we don't work from a place of fear and we don't try to give you any feelings of fear when you're going through this process.
Yes. And we hope that God bless you and keep you and grant you his peace.